Okay, the question and answer session continues. I'm on live via the Charlie Munger Quotes page on Instagram, and I have a question here from Andy who wants to know, do you change your asset allocation, meaning like, stocks and bonds, during these uncertain times? So for me, the answer is no, and I'll tell you why. Obviously, this is what's best for me. You need to do what's best for you. For me, it comes down to time horizon. So, there's an argument to make that at a certain point, you should, have less exposure to equities and more exposure to things like bonds. It ensures less volatility, things like that. For me, I'm a relatively young person. I'm in my early 30s, so I don't see how it makes a lot of sense for me to. I want to be invested aggressively in things that I think are sound, like the U.S. stock market, like the VU. So to start shifting things around now would only be to make myself to make the returns be a little less volatile. But the money that I invest now, I don't have any intention to touch it for many, many, many years. So it doesn't, in that regard, doesn't make a lot of sense for me to suddenly start changing my asset allocation. One thing I think I do look at from an asset allocation side, and this goes now, is if we zoom in on the stock portion, is what percentage of my portfolio is in low cost index funds. And that's something that I don't have to do anything now to shift it. But, as I share my portfolio and updates on YouTube, you should see that percentage get greater and greater. I have a rule now that at least 60% of my portfolio has to be in low cost index funds. Because I've read all the data, I know myself, I know what I'm trying to do. And generally speaking, we are much more likely to do better by not trying to pick stocks. It ends up not working out that well. And as I've described before, it's a much more enjoyable way to invest because I'm not checking my portfolio all the time. I'm not stressed. I understand that my future growth is tied to the growth of the broader U.S. economy. Or as Warren Buffett would say, the American tailwind. So just a little extra thought there, but that's what I think about it. I think a lot of it comes down to how old you are. If you're you're getting closer to retirement. I certainly, if I was close to retirement per se, I wouldn't want to be in all equities. But that's not just because of what's going on now. I think, I just want to. I'm not looking to get any outsized returns. I'm looking at that point to hold and maintain and grow, reasonably what I've worked really hard to build. So something to think about. Hope that's helpful.